Okay, everybody, this is going to be a progress video on the Monte Carlo as well as a parts review video. If you're doing a pretty much anything except a 70 to 72 Chevelle or probably a Buick Skylark, because they have the same form back here, I don't have any good news for you. I installed one of these roofs about 6 years ago, and I remember it's a little bit aggravating. The AMD panel, pretty good. You can see how straight it is. There's a few little stamp imperfections in it, but overall it's not bad. What I wanted to show you, see you got a good overlap here on the pinch weld. Had to prise that up a little bit to get her to lay down there in the drip rail. But if you've got a Monte Carlo specifically, I can't speak for GTO, Cutlass, anything like that. This roof panel is listed for 68 to 72 GM A-body. Well, as we all know, there's a lot of different A-bodies. You have a Monte Carlo, you have a Chevelle, you have a Skylark, you have a Cutlass, Fastback, and Supreme, and you have a GTO Le Mans, all of which have, except for the Skylark and the Chevelle, have different sail panels. Some have a different rear glass. All have the same windshield. Some have, this piece is different. The basic form of the glass is the same. So they're able to make one roof and sell it for 15 or 20 different models here. The problem is they're all made like this. So to get these things to fit, you're going to have to immediately, right out of the box, take your cutoff wheel or your grinder and take off about 1/8 of an inch on each side to get it to drop down into the drip rail. You can see that's how long it was, and that's how long it is now. Be careful not to take too much. You can fill in the drip rail with some fiberglass filler or seam sealer later, once it's all welded in. You'll tack weld down the edge. You'll also tack weld here, and you'll tack weld here, across through here, just like the factory did. On a Monte Carlo, I've noticed they're made too long here, but too short here. You'll have to fill that in with a piece of metal. Same goes for over here on this side. As you can see, a little gap right here that's going to have to be addressed. So basically, if you're wanting to know how to put this generic 68 to 72 roof skin on a Monte Carlo, this is the way I do it for a Monte Carlo. You're going to have to do what I did here. You're going to have to trim the drip rails, and you're going to have to, once you've got it laid down and get it clamped down to kind of see how it looks, then you're going to have to take and trim this right up through there. And then this can be butt welded and sealed, and then body work and all that performed. So basically, that's what you're going to have to do to make the AMD roof skin fit a Monte Carlo. It's a little aggravating. Overall, the panel I'm pretty happy with. I could see some room for improvement. My glass guy always complains about these older cars, how the pinch weld is not very long. So I noticed on every car I've ever had on a Monte Carlo Chevelle, over here on this corner, for some reason, you can see how wide this is. They all taper off. Well, the bozos that's making these panels decided to do what the factory did and still taper it off. So you've still got a skinny pinch weld on this side. I don't know what the reason for that was. In my opinion, there was no reason. It was a stupid idea. They should have made this pinch weld. If anything, if you're restoring one of these cars to make life easier on yourself and your glass guy, it's not a problem to make the pinch weld bigger. If you're making your own little panels and they're hanging down a little bit, that's fine. It's going to help create a better seal for the urethane. So keep that in mind as well. But you can see down through there how I've trimmed, and that's pretty much the extent of it. So in summary, the car panels are in. They still need to be finished welding. Again, if you're using especially flux with any kind of weld on sheet metal, you want to let plenty of time to cool in between so you don't warp. But as far as the update on the car, that you can see where we're at. But as far as the parts review part of the video, you know, this is all you can get. Unless you go out and find a donor car that's got a good roof, you're looking at double labor to break down the original donor skin from the structure, to clean it up, to break this one down, and then reinstall. A lot of work. The repop skin, although taking time to make it fit a Monte Carlo, is the way to go, and not an original part if you're trying to save labor at a restoration shop. If you're doing the work yourself and you're out in a junkyard and hey, that car's garbage but the top's good, well, take your Sawzall and cut it off and take it home and just take your time and break it down and use the original roof skin. Still, you're going to be irritated because of the double work involved, but the original roofs are very hard to come by now, and most still have some type of issue in this area, and you're going to end up having to order the belt and speed panels to fix it. And the time you do all that, I mean, I got to be honest, you're just better off buying the new top. I've sold a lot of these, several of these over the years, used, and will continue to do so on cars that's not restorable, but the roofs are good. But unfortunately, it's just not. So kept that as short as I possibly could, but I just wanted to show you and explain my opinion of the AMD roof skin, 6872 A-body, and a little bit about how to go about installing. Again, right out of the box, trim the drip rails 1/8 of an inch on each side, clamp it down, kind of see where you're at, and then you can start working back here. I'll make another video of what I did here and how much here I cut off to make it fit this car. This will vary a little bit because some cars, these are donor cell panels, so they're going to be a little different than if these were good and this was just cut off. So keep that in mind. I hope this helps clear up some of the confusion on the why they list this as a 68 to 72 A-body. It's because the roofs are basically the same. The only difference is a little bit in the drip rail and back here where it meets the side of the roof. Like, share, comment. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer. Thanks.